The world is changing at a terrifying pace, and the signs are undeniable. Chaos, war, deception, and moral decay, everything the Bible warned about is unfolding right before our eyes.
A lot of people are dead right now that should be alive, and a lot of cities are destroyed.
Governments call for peace, yet destruction looms. The church is divided, and false messiahs rise. Could we be witnessing the final countdown? These 10 shocking Bible prophecies are happening right now, and what we uncover in number 7 will leave you speechless. You can't afford to ignore this. Are we living in the end times? That is the question many are asking as the world grows darker each day. The Bible predicted specific events that would happen before the return of Jesus, and shockingly, we are watching these prophecies unfold right now. These are not random predictions or vague guesses. They were written thousands of years ago with stunning accuracy. Throughout history, biblical prophecies have come true. The rise and fall of great empires, the return of Israel as a nation, and even the detailed prophecy of Jesus' birth, death, and resurrection were all recorded long before they happened. This proves that the Bible is not just another book, it is God's Word. Now we are witnessing the final prophecies leading up to the return of Jesus. From global conflicts to moral decay, from false teachings to the push for a one-world government, every sign is pointing to the end times. But how do we know for sure? In this video, we will look at 10 Bible prophecies happening right now, with real-world evidence to back them up. Some of these prophecies may sound unbelievable. Some may even shock you. But as we break them down, you will see that the Bible's warnings are true, and they are unfolding right before our eyes. Stay with us as we examine each one, and by the end, you will have to ask yourself, are you ready for what's coming? Prophecy number 1. The rise of false religions and worship of creation. The Bible warns that in the last days, people will turn away from the truth and follow false teachings. Romans 1 verse 25 says, "They exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshipped, and served the creature rather than the Creator." In 2 Peter 3 verses 3 to 5, we are told that scoffers will come, rejecting God and following their own desires. Look around, and you will see this happening everywhere. People are no longer worshiping God, they are worshiping the universe, nature, and even themselves. The rise of New Age spirituality is proof of this. Millions follow teachings that focus on self-enlightenment, energy healing, and connecting with the divine within. They claim they don't need God because they are their own gods. Even in churches, some pastors are promoting dangerous ideas. Instead of preaching the gospel, they teach that all religions lead to God. They say Jesus is just one of many ways to heaven. This is a direct contradiction to what Jesus said in John 14 verse 6. "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." A shocking example of this happened at a national event, where a well-known pastor led a prayer, not to God, but to the universe. She said, "May the endless, boundless energy of the universe wrap around you with awe and love." This was not a prayer to the God of the Bible, but to an unknown force. The world is moving away from God, just as the Bible predicted. Instead of worshiping the Creator, people are worshiping creation. This is just the beginning of the deception leading to the final days. Prophecy number 2. Scoffers will reject Jesus and mock his return. The Bible clearly warns that in the last days, people will mock God, reject Jesus, and laugh at the idea of his second coming. In 2 Peter 3 verses 3 to 4 it says, "Scoffers will come in the last days, walking according to their own lusts, and saying, 'Where is the promise of his coming?'" Jude 1:18 echoes this, saying, "In the last time there will be mockers, following their own ungodly desires." Look at the world today, and you will see this prophecy coming true. Christianity is being ridiculed like never before. Famous scientists, celebrities, and influencers boldly deny Jesus. They mock those who believe in the Bible and spread the idea that faith is outdated and foolish. Richard Dawkins, one of the most well-known atheists, has openly called Christianity a delusion. Alex O'Connor, another vocal atheist, has made it his mission to challenge Christians, arguing that Jesus was not the Son of God and that the Bible is nothing more than myths and fairy tales. These voices are growing louder, influencing millions to turn away from the truth. What's even more shocking is that some churches are joining in. There are pastors who now deny the rapture, claiming it is nothing more than a misinterpretation of Scripture. Some go even further, saying that Jesus is not coming back at all. One pastor, in a viral video, had his entire congregation repeat after him, saying, "There will be no rapture. Jesus is not coming back." This is exactly what the Bible said would happen. The world is full of scoffers who reject Jesus, deny his return, and mislead others. But the truth remains, Jesus is coming back. The question is, will you be ready? Prophecy number 3. The days of Noah, wickedness will increase. Jesus warned that before his return, the world would look just like it did in the days of Noah. In Luke 17 verses 26 to 29 he said, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man." The book of Genesis 6:5 describes those days, saying, "The wickedness of man was great on the earth, and every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." Doesn't that sound exactly like the world today? Wickedness is increasing everywhere. Violence, lawlessness, and corruption fill the news. People glorify sin and reject God's truth. One of the clearest examples is found in entertainment. The Grammy Awards, one of the most watched events in the world, has become a showcase for demonic symbolism and satanic imagery. Some performances openly celebrate darkness, with artists dressed as the devil, singing about rebellion against God. Hollywood follows the same pattern, pushing content that glorifies sin, violence, immorality, and evil are celebrated while Christianity is mocked. Social media is no better. The internet is flooded with content that promotes self-worship, sexual immorality, and hatred toward anything that speaks of God. Crime rates are skyrocketing, and people have become more aggressive, unloving, and hostile. Respect for parents and authority is fading fast. All of this matches what Jesus warned about. The world is not improving, it is becoming darker by the day. This is exactly how it was in the time of Noah, a world filled with evil, where people ignored the warning until it was too late. If we are seeing these things now, how close are we to the return of Jesus? Prophecy number 4. Damascus will be destroyed. The Bible prophesied that in the last days, Damascus, one of the oldest cities in the world, would be completely destroyed. In Isaiah 17 verse 1 it says, "Behold, Damascus will cease from being a city, it will be a ruinous heap." Jeremiah 49 verses 23 to 27 also speaks of a time when Damascus will be weakened, filled with fear, and eventually wiped out. For thousands of years, Damascus has remained standing, surviving wars and conquests. But today, this prophecy is unfolding before our eyes. Damascus is no longer the great city it once was. Years of conflict, bombings, and destruction have turned large parts of it into rubble. Look at the current state of Syria. The Syrian civil war has devastated Damascus. Entire neighborhoods are abandoned. Once thriving markets are now empty. Homes have been turned into dust. News footage from the region shows the reality. Collapsed buildings, smoke rising from bombed-out streets, and families fleeing for their lives. But has this prophecy already been fulfilled, or is worse destruction still coming? Some believe that Isaiah 17 is a dual prophecy, meaning part of it has been fulfilled, but the final destruction has yet to happen. Others argue that what we are witnessing now is just the beginning, and an even greater catastrophe will soon bring Damascus to complete ruin, just as the Bible foretold. Whatever the case, one thing is clear, the destruction of Damascus is happening in real time. Another biblical prophecy is unfolding before our very eyes. Prophecy number 5. Nations will rise against Israel. One of the most important prophecies in the Bible is about the nations of the world turning against Israel. In Zechariah 12 verses 1 to 3 God says, "I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all nations of the earth are gathered against it." Why is Israel always at war? Because it is at the center of end times prophecy. No other nation on earth faces as much opposition as Israel. Since its rebirth in 1948, Israel has been under constant attack from its neighbors, and the hostility is only increasing. In Luke 21 verse 20, Jesus warns, When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation is near. Look at what is happening today. Israel is surrounded by enemies. Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, and other groups are openly calling for its destruction. Even world leaders who once supported Israel are now turning their backs, pressuring it to give up land and make peace deals that weaken its security. Breaking news footage shows the reality. Rocket attacks, violent protests, and global condemnation of Israel are happening daily. The world constantly blames Israel for conflict, even when it is defending itself. International organizations pass resolutions against Israel at a higher rate than any other nation. This prophecy has not yet reached its full fulfillment, but we are watching it move in that direction. The Bible warns that all nations will eventually come against Israel, leading to a final battle. As tensions rise, it is clear that we are moving closer to that moment. Israel is the ticking clock of biblical prophecy, and the world is watching as it counts down to the final days. Prophecy number 6 calls for peace and safety before sudden destruction. The Bible warns that in the last days people will cry out for peace and safety, but instead, sudden destruction will come. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3 says, "For when they say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as labor pains upon a pregnant woman. And they shall not escape." Look at what is happening in the world today. Leaders everywhere are calling for peace, especially in the Middle East, yet wars and conflicts continue to escalate. Peace treaties and ceasefires are signed, but they never last. Instead of bringing true peace, these agreements often lead to more violence. Pope Francis and other world leaders have repeatedly called for peace and security in recent years. This exact phrase is being used over and over again, just as the Bible predicted. At the United Nations, during major global summits, and in international speeches, leaders stress the need for peace and security. Yet war remains constant. In the Middle East, ceasefires between Israel and its enemies are temporary. A peace deal might be signed one day, but within weeks or months, violence erupts again. The same pattern happens worldwide: peace talks, treaties, and agreements, yet destruction follows. A recent speech by a world leader clearly stated, "Our goal is lasting peace and security." This phrase has been echoed by politicians, diplomats, and religious figures. But according to 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3, this repeated call for peace is a sign that destruction is coming. The world desperately wants peace, but the Bible tells us true peace will not come until Jesus returns. Every false promise of peace brings us closer to the final days. Prophecy number 7. The rise of a global government. For 100 words, the Bible warns that in the end times, a one-world government will rise, controlled by the Antichrist. In Revelation 13 verse 7 it says, "An authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation." Daniel 7 verse 23 also speaks of a final kingdom that will devour the whole earth, showing that a global system is coming. Right now, we are watching this prophecy unfold. Governments, organizations, and elite groups are pushing for a new world order, a system where one government, one economy, and one leader controls everything. This is exactly what the Bible predicted. One of the biggest signs is the move toward digital IDs and a cashless society. Governments and tech companies are working to replace cash with digital currency, controlled by central banks. Digital IDs are being introduced worldwide, allowing people to buy, sell, and access services with a single global system. Once fully implemented, this system can be used to control people's actions, just as the Bible warned. Global organizations like the World Economic Forum, WEF, United Nations, and International Monetary Fund are working toward worldwide governance. Leaders talk about the need for a Great Reset, when national borders and individual freedoms are reduced in favor of a global system. A shocking video from a recent WEF meeting showed world leaders discussing the need for a central authority to manage global affairs. They claim this is necessary to create stability in the world. But according to the Bible, this is exactly how the Antichrist's rule will begin. The pieces are falling into place. The world is being prepared for one ruler to take control. The Bible has already warned us about what happens next. Prophecy number 8. The third temple will be rebuilt. The Bible prophesies that in the last days, a third temple will be built in Jerusalem. This is a major event in end times prophecy because it will play a key role in the rise of the Antichrist. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 4 warns that the Antichrist will sit as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Daniel 9 verse 27 also speaks of a future time when sacrifices in the temple will be stopped by a wicked ruler. For centuries, the idea of rebuilding the temple seemed impossible. The first temple, built by Solomon, and the second temple, rebuilt after exile, were both destroyed. But today, preparations for the third temple are well underway. One of the biggest signs is the arrival of the red heifers in Israel. According to Jewish tradition, the temple cannot be purified without the ashes of a perfect, unblemished red heifer. In recent years, several red heifers have been brought to Israel, and they are now being carefully examined for use in future sacrifices. Beyond the red heifers, organizations in Israel are already making detailed plans for the temple's reconstruction. The Temple Institute has recreated many of the sacred artifacts, including the golden menorah, the high priest's garments, and the altar of sacrifice. A recent news report showed the progress being made, with temple advocates saying they are only waiting for the right political conditions to begin rebuilding. Some Jewish leaders believe that a peace agreement with surrounding nations will create the perfect opportunity to rebuild the temple. The Bible tells us that once this temple is built, the Antichrist will use it for his own purposes, deceiving many. The fact that we are witnessing preparations for this temple proves we are moving closer to the final days. Prophecy number 9. The Antichrist's Peace Treaty. The Bible warns that a powerful world leader will rise, offering a peace treaty that deceives many. In Daniel 9 verse 27 it says, "He shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering." This prophecy reveals that the Antichrist will establish a 7-year peace agreement, but halfway through, he will break the deal and unleash chaos. Right now, the world is desperate for peace, especially in the Middle East. Wars, terrorism, and political instability have created a crisis that seems unsolvable. Leaders from different nations are working to negotiate peace, but no solution lasts. This sets the stage for the Antichrist to step in as a peacemaker. Recent headlines show multiple calls for a Middle East peace treaty. Some political figures are proposing bold new agreements to unify nations in the region. These efforts mirror the prophecy in Daniel, where a leader will bring temporary peace before betrayal. A news clip from a recent summit shows world leaders discussing the need for a strong and lasting peace in Israel and its neighboring countries. Some leaders have even suggested that a peace treaty could include plans for the Third Temple's reconstruction, tying this prophecy directly to the previous one. But the Bible warns that this peace will be an illusion. Many will believe that this leader has solved the world's problems, but in reality, it will be the beginning of the Great Tribulation. The Antichrist will turn against those who trusted him, bringing war, persecution, and suffering. The world is being prepared for this leader right now. Who will step into this role? How soon will this prophecy come true? The evidence is unfolding before our eyes. Prophecy number 10. The Mark of the Beast System. The Bible warns that in the last days, a global system will be put in place where no one can buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast. In Revelation 13:16-17 it says, "He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." Right now, we are watching this prophecy unfold. Digital control over money, identification, and personal data is increasing every day. Governments and financial institutions are pushing for a cashless society, where all transactions are tracked and controlled. One of the biggest signs is the rise of biometric payment systems. Companies are now developing technology that allows people to pay using their fingerprints, facial recognition, or even implanted microchips. Some businesses have already started offering employees the option to receive microchip implants that allow them to open doors, access computers, and make purchases with a simple wave of the hand. Global organizations are also discussing the need for digital IDs linked to financial transactions. The idea is that every person will have a single, unified digital identity, making it easier to track and control transactions. This means that if you don't comply with certain rules, your access to money, goods, and services could be shut off instantly. A recent news report revealed that several companies are already experimenting with implantable microchips for payments, and governments are working towards central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, which would give complete control over how and when people can spend their money. The Bible warned that one day, the world would be under a system where people would be forced to take a mark to buy or sell. With today's technology, we can now see exactly how this prophecy could be fulfilled. The question is, how soon will it happen? We are living in unprecedented times. The world is changing faster than ever, and Bible prophecies that were written thousands of years ago are happening right now. The evidence is undeniable. We are in the last days. The Bible warns that only those who put their faith in Jesus Christ will be saved. The signs are clear. Jesus is coming soon, and there is no time to waste. The question is, are you ready for what's coming? Have you given your life to Jesus? Do you truly know Him? This is not just another video, it is a warning. God is calling you to repent, turn away from sin, and seek Him before it's too late. The world is being prepared for the final events, and there is only one way to escape what's coming, through Jesus Christ. If you believe that Bible prophecy is being fulfilled right now, share this message. Let others know what is happening. Like, comment, and let us know what you think. But most importantly, seek the truth before time runs out. We have just gone through 10 Bible prophecies that are happening right now. From the rise of false religions to the destruction of Damascus, from Israel being surrounded by enemies to the coming mark of the beast, every sign is pointing to the end times. These are not coincidences. These are not random events. The Bible told us exactly what would happen, and now it is unfolding before our eyes. So, what does this mean for you? It means that the return of Jesus is closer than ever. It means that now is the time to make sure you are right with God. Because when these prophecies reach their final fulfillment, there will be no turning back. But this is just the beginning. There are even more end times prophecies that are taking shape right now. If you want to know what's coming next, stay tuned for our next video, where we will reveal even more shocking Bible prophecies that are unfolding right now. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this urgent message. The world needs to hear the truth. Jesus is coming soon. Are you ready?